Hey everybody, welcome back to Scary Cute, and today I wanted to make a video about Gabby Petito and the similarities that I went through and why I thank God every day that I am still here, and I want to put my empathy out there for her family, her friends, and everybody who cared about her. I mean, she has stolen the hearts of almost everybody across the world, and now she's on a documentary, which is very sad. And all we can do now is talk to her, or talk about her, and honor her life. And I really was hoping to kind of make this a little bit educational so people can understand what to look out for in abuse in such a way, but also kind of go through what I went through. And yeah, so like it, subscribe. I got lots of personal stories out there, especially all those supernatural, because yeah, you'll have to check out my last couple videos. I caught demon things on camera. I've caught possibly a family member, but a ghostly, orbly apparition thing. So yeah, stay tuned. Go check it out. And yeah, let's get into this. So whether you're in a great healthy relationship or if you are in an abusive relationship, and if it is healthy and it gets abusive, just know there's something wrong with that individual. And I would like to caution anyone, girl or boy, because we all go through abusive, all genders go through abusive relationships. And a little interesting fact, though, the domestic violence shelters out there are not just made for women. They're actually, men can also go there as well. So if you're experiencing abuse, leave. But I urge you to leave with caution. Be very cautious about how you do it, because in my case, if I wasn't as slick and sly as I was, I probably would not be here today. Absolutely not. So I'm very thankful. And these people, once they get a whiff that you're leaving, trust me, they go down the deep rabbit hole. They go down the deep, dark rabbit hole. They sell their soul to the devil, and they will try to sell yours too. Be careful. You know, Brian and Gabby were in a relationship together. They went to high school together, and you know, everybody around them, like family and friends, they thought they were happy and everything was okay. However, Gabby's friend, who was close to her, got to see the manipulative side of him. And in my case, it was like that too, where friends, family, you know, they would come over, he'd be social, he'd be hosty, he would be very happy-go-lucky. And after everybody would leave, all of whatever negativity was going on would get outleashed onto me. And that's why you don't ever judge somebody. Like, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. And it's called gaslighting. He was a gaslighter and a very good manipulator. And I see the same similarities within Brian, how he can just act like everything's okay, turn around, and be the person that he is. I do believe that Gabby was an empath, just like myself, and I believe that was the driving force in the relationship to keep going and caring for kind of the ish that he kept pulling. And probably in her mind, she wanted to kind of help him, be there for him, like you know, you don't need to cry, and, you know, she probably wanted to make him happier. So eventually, Gabby quit her job and she got this van that she had been saving up for and decided to start vlogging and doing road trips out of her van. And it's so interesting how similar we are, because when I first got into the relationship, I wanted to vlog, and I did. I made like around like 5 videos, but like in her vlogs, you can see Brian is just, it's like he's just playing along, and he's kind of fake smiling and just not really there for it. And that's what I experienced too. And so I just gave it up, because it's no fun when somebody else is just not into it as well or having fun. And I know you'd say like, well, why didn't you just do it without him? But the thing is, when you got somebody who's that controlling and wants every bit of your attention, you are going to do everything together. So it's not like you can really just, all right, I need to go, you know, spend time on my vlog, go work and do that on my own. It causes problems. And I can see that was causing a problem and a rift in their relationship. I remember watching the Moab incident that was all over the news, and seeing how Brian conducted himself and how Gabby conducted herself. And she, compared to Brian, who's cool, calm, collective, everything's fine, especially in front of an officer. You know, he isn't being his real self, like, hey, you know, we were having a problem, but he's just like, yeah, she was trying to attack me. And Gabby over here is completely distraught. The fact that Gabby was so distraught, that should have been a red flag for the officers. And I do believe these officers should have done things differently. And as somebody who's gone through domestic violence and going through DV classes and preventing myself from ever going through that again, but learning the signs and the red flags, and learning how, what kind of, you know, manipulation and things like that are out there, and the gaslighting and how it all exists, I think these officers would benefit, and we all agreed that these officers would benefit. It would help out women out there and possibly save lives if they had the proper training. Now, after they came back and kind of villainized Gabby, you know, it was her fault for, you know, attacking. They didn't really, and as they said, she's only 110 pounds. She's not really a threat. And what got her that upset to want to need to attack Brian? I believe, from my experience, it was caused by mental and psychological abuse. He was probably saying and doing some nasty behavior that was skewing with her head to make her upset. It's frustrating when someone is tearing you down emotionally. You start to, it really, it messes with your head, and yeah, you can get angry, and not that I have ever, no, but it really hurts, and you feel you need to be defensive and defend yourself from the blasphemy. But when you get frustrated, and when someone's really messing with you because they know that that's how they can get you to act that way, they it's like they try their hardest to really make you worked up. They do. It's like, and then they, you know, oh, she attacked me. I didn't do anything. It's crap. That's crap. And I hate that they didn't look into further of, well, why, does she have a history of being violent? Does she do drugs? Is she crazy? Can I speak to her family member right now? They should have done that. They should have done more things and got a broader perspective, because in the end, the police officers, they didn't even know what to do. They, in front of the cameras, like, for the judge and then everybody to see that we're trying to make the best decision. But it's like, I guess that's all they knew how to do, right? What the police ends up doing is sending Brian to a hotel room, and Gabby goes back to her van, right? I thought that was just instantly, I thought that was so messed up. I think Gabby should have been the one in a hotel room and Brian in the van, and have proper space where she feels like, she's around other people because it's a hotel. There's cameras. At least she's not, she's 110 pounds, right? They said that she's not she's not a threat. I think if there's something going on, she can at least feel safe there. He's a man. He can hold the fort for the van and staying in the van alone, right? It just makes more sense to me. So I thought that was just bonkers. But anyways, it ends up that Brian did not just stay in the hotel all night. He did eventually go back to the van. And this is what I'm thinking, is because how she got villainized by the police afterwards, she probably felt so guilty. She probably thought, oh, yep, probably self-blame. Because when I was going through abuse, I'd always, it's probably my fault. It's, maybe I said this in the wrong tone. You just start like, what, how does this happen? How? And you start to self-blame. But no, abuse is never okay to begin with. That's just point blank, period. And you got to stop the self-blame. For anybody out there, stop the self-blame. No self-blaming. Period. So that's what I think Gabby was feeling. She was probably a lot of self-blame, and she was like, all right, let's just move on with this. And they continued their trip. Now, 10 days into the trip, Gabby messages her ex-boyfriend, and this just came out in the documentary where he shared what they had been talking about, and that she wanted to leave the relationship with Brian, and she didn't know how he would take it, and she didn't know what he was capable of. And so I think right there, she knew, she had probably some sense that she was in danger. I believe. Yeah. You wanted to say that, unless you knew, if he's capable of hurting me like this, he's probably capable of doing something more. And that was in my case, he would say he wanted to unalive himself. And it's like, if you can do that to yourself, what could you do to others? If you want to go on your way out, who else would you want to take with you, right? If you're that selfish. Also, I hope that he didn't see the messages between Gabby and the ex. That could have been another factor in things. Or he was sensing that she wanted to leave. It kind of gets obvious when you start distancing yourself, even by a little bit. So I come to find out months later for myself that I had a bunch of male friends that I had grown up with that were blocked on my Facebook Messenger. And it's just, astonishing. I thought there was actually trust in the relationship. I've always been very loyal and doing things that wouldn't put somebody in a state of mind to not trust me. So that was really shocking. And who knows what's going on in Brian's mind at the time. Probably thinking the worst, and it's probably why he went so dark to do what he did. some of Gabby's last text messages to her mother were telling her that Brian would be sleeping outside while she'd be sleeping in the van. And it was almost kind of like she was joking, like in a way, because the mom goes, "Are you breaking up?" And she goes, "No, he wanted to do it." And she goes, "And he wants me to pay him." And she wasn't making any money, so like it makes it like Gabby, I think she felt at that moment that everything was peaceful and okay, and she was kind of like making lighthearted of the separation, and it was going well. But little did you know, and probably in Brian's head, he was taking this completely differently. And in my case, I, with all the unaliving threats and things like that, I felt if he could do that to himself, why would he not want to bring somebody else down with him? Because, you don't want them to see them grow and prosper after you're gone and dead, right? It just made sense to me that that could be a problem. I decided that I would go stay at my sister's, even though that, like, she's my sister. It just was not an ideal place to go. She had roommates and not really much space, and I felt completely guilty, but I knew it was kind of like the urgency to get out, to go somewhere, was so strong. But my sister was like cool with it, and I told him like I'm gonna go for a few days, and he goes, no, I'll go stay at a hostel. And so I was like relieved. I was like, yes, I gotta stay home, and we gotta be like formally like separated. However, I didn't realize he was doing that on purpose, so that he knew where I was at all along. And instead of off with my sister, he probably thought I was going to go with some other dude down the road, or whatever he thought. And so that was that. So just go. If you have family and you need to get out, go somewhere else other than your home, so you can have complete peace of mind. And he did come back like the second day, and he had said something to me that was so cryptic. It was then that I knew that he wasn't just wanting to hurt himself. He was also, I'm not even sure if I can say this, but he could unalive me. And that night, I didn't know what to do. I'm trying to process this. Like, is this real? Really? And I almost, just try to brush it off. Like, there's just no way this wouldn't happen to me. It was that night, though. He had texted me and said goodnight, and I, said goodnight too, but I wasn't tired yet, actually. I just wanted to pretend that I was tired, and I didn't want him to think I was out, and doing something else and causing him to get upset or something. You're always stepping on eggshells. And so that night, I still couldn't sleep, and I was starting to feel a sense of dread, and I can't explain it. So I decided if I message him and he's still awake, it kind of confirms my dread that he could come back in the middle of the night and hurt me. So he responded. He was still awake. And And the way he said it, like he was just thinking about me and stuff. And I was just like, I gotta leave. And I called a domestic violence shelter and I left. And I left for 3 months until I was sure that everything was gonna be okay when I came back home. So yeah, that was a lot. And there's a lot more to it even after, but it's a it gets real sensitive and I just can't share that publicly. So gets yeah. I'll let you know though to this day, and I'm so thankful that I did go to that shelter. They really taught me a lot, and they're always like, document everything. Document everything. So I documented everything. And when it came down to it, he tried to, like in the court of law and all that, tried to smear me as this liar. And I was the abusive one. But I had all the evidence. Lo and behold. Okay? Document everything. Luckily, I have my restraining order. And I'm all good. Hopefully things continue to stay that way, because he did try to break it a couple times. And so as we know, Gabby did not make it. And you know, there's a lot of conspiracy out there that Brian is still alive actually, and I wouldn't doubt it. And maybe we should do a video on that. You guys will have to like let me know down below if we should or not. But it really was awesome to see that Gabby and their family went out to where she had passed and they took a family photo. And you know, like we talk about in this, you know, channel, orbs and things and spirits and stuff like that. In that photo there was a huge orb right in the middle of everybody, and I do believe that that was Gabby with them. I really do. I believe she's now in a better place, and I really hope that everybody is healing and doing well. And I'm so thankful that I am here. Unfortunately, you know, without proper knowledge and how serious abuse can be, abusive relationships particularly, yeah, they need to be taken more seriously. And I think there needs to be more education out there for people. So I do hope that, you know, if you know somebody out there who needs help, try to open up with them and give them resources, you know, hold their hand on every step of the way, because they really need it. You know, I was going through a lot of anxiety, and for example, like, I didn't even want to go ziplining, and now I think about it, like, heck yeah, I would go ziplining. But when you're going through all of that, your mental state of mind gets so deteriorated with all of it that it causes you to kind of think that way and stuff. You're more sensitive, and now I feel a lot freer. I still carry the trauma with me this day. Like, I'm so reserved. I mean, even though I open up to you guys about a lot of stuff, I am still very wary about who I make friends with, and you know, if they have any involvement with him. I don't want that game, like telephone going around about my business and stuff. It's just, yeah. So those are some things. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think down below. Should I do another video regarding Brian, if he's still alive out there? Give me a like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, and see you guys on the next one.